Do you think you're living in a free world? So let's look at Iran. An isolated, sanctioned land, yet one that holds the life or death card of the entire Middle East. Behind the political clamour, the answer to Iran's true power lies not in its skyscrapers, but in its unique, ancient villages. Could it be that what the world tries to isolate is actually the most vibrant living treasure we have ever seen? Before the name Iran appeared in the news, the world knew this land as Persia, a symbol of glorious empires and the legendary Silk Road. Persia is not just a place on a map. It is a civilization that shaped language, art, architecture, trade and power throughout the Middle East and beyond. But for the people of Iran, the name Iran has existed for a very long time, meaning land of the Aryans, a designation rooted in the cultural and linguistic origins of the Iranian peoples dating back thousands of years. In 1935, the official request for the world to use the name Iran was not just a change in designation, but an affirmation of the identity of a people who wanted to define themselves rather than through the lens of the West. To truly understand Iran, we should not only look at its political upheavals, but also at its name and its origins. Behind the ancient villages and windswept valleys lies a forgotten Iran of the Middle East and the heart of an ancient civilization still beating in every stone corner and breath of time. While much of the world operates in the Gregorian calendar, Iran follows a very distinct calendar closely tied to nature. Their official calendar is the Solar Hijri, a system based on the movement of the sun. The Iranian New Year is called Nowruz. It doesn't begin in the middle of the cold winter, but rather at the exact moment of the spring equinox. Currently, while the world is in the 21st century, the Iranian calendar is in the year 1405. This difference doesn't mean Iran is behind the times. It shows a nation moving in parallel with history on its own unique path. If oil is the black gold of the modern world, then saffron is Iran's red gold. This tiny crimson thread, harvested from the delicate purple flower of Crocus sativus, is one of the most precious spices on earth. More than 90% of the world's saffron comes from Iranian soil, especially from the dry eastern provinces where harsh sunlight, cold nights, and patient hands create a treasure no machine can truly replace. Each flower gives only 3 small stigmas. To collect just 1 kilogram of saffron, hundreds of thousands of flowers must be picked by hand, often before sunrise, when the petals are still closed and the air is cold. It is the quiet devotion of farmers who bend over endless purple fields, turning fragile blossoms into something more valuable than silver, sometimes even more expensive than gold. In Iranian life, saffron is everywhere. It colours rice with a golden glow. It perfumes tea, sweets, stews, and celebrations. A few threads are enough to transform an ordinary dish into something warm, fragrant, and almost sacred. But saffron is more than flavour. It is also a symbol of resilience. From a land often described by sanctions, conflict, and political tension, Iran offers the world a delicate, beautiful, and profoundly human product. While fuel prices are a major concern in many countries, in Iran, which possesses some of the world's largest oil and gas reserves, the cost is unbelievably low. However, this abundant black gold is both a gift from nature and an invisible chain binding Iran's fate to the vortex of politics. Oil is the foundation of Iran's power, helping it maintain its strategic position, especially its ability to influence the Strait of Hormuz, the global energy lifeline. Fuel subsidies help citizens cope with inflation and sanctions, but they also create a huge financial burden for the government. This leaves a resource-rich nation struggling with the pressure of living costs and an uncertain future. Under the impact of sanctions, oil is no longer just a commodity, but has become a tool for survival and political confrontation. Nestled among the frigid mountain slopes of northwestern Iran lies a village where people don't build their houses above ground, but live inside the rock. That village is Kandovan. Located in East Azerbaijan province, northwestern Iran, this village is famous for its troglodyte architecture, meaning houses in caves, and is still inhabited today. Thousands of years ago, eruptions from Mount Sahan covered the area with layers of volcanic ash. mudflows and hardened debris. Over time, these materials compressed into tuff, a porous volcanic rock soft enough for human hands to carve, yet strong enough to stand firm as a fortress against centuries of erosion. Although traces of human presence in this area may date back a very long time, the village's settlement history is generally linked to the 13th century, when local legends recount the people fled Mongol invasions and sought refuge in these natural rock caves. What began as a temporary shelter gradually became a permanent home. Families carved deeper into the rock, expanding the caves, creating doorways and storage rooms, and transforming the mountain itself into an architectural structure. Each conical house, known locally as a Kharan, can be 2 to 4 stories high, with rooms stacked vertically inside the rock. Because these houses are carved rather than built, the windows are typically small, preserving the rock's durability while protecting the interior from the harsh mountain climate. Staircases are often carved directly into the exterior surface, connecting the floors and linking the houses on the rocky slope. In fact, it still functions as a vibrant community today. While many ancient cave settlements around the world have become museums, archaeological sites, or tourist destinations devoid of daily life, Kandovan remains inhabited. People still cook, sleep, raise children, raise livestock, welcome guests, and continue traditions in their homes, which are over 700 years old. Tuff has excellent natural insulation, keeping the interiors cool during the hot summer months and warmer through the freezing winters of the high Azerbaijan mountains. The village is also famous for its natural mineral springs flowing from Mount Sahan. According to local beliefs and folk medicine, the water is valued for its mineral content and is often believed to aid in the treatment of kidney diseases. Despite living in ancient caves, the inhabitants have cleverly installed modern electrical and water systems inside the rock walls without altering the external structure of the heritage site. What would happen if an entire city's transportation system were located right on the rooftops of its residents? The answer lies in the village of Masuleh, a strange world hidden in the mists of the Alborz Mountains. Located at an altitude of approximately 3,450 feet above sea level, Masuleh is built on a steep mountainside where the slope can reach nearly 60 degrees. From its lowest point to its highest, the village rises by about 330 feet. This creates a settlement that does not spread outward like a typical town. Instead, it climbs in layers, almost like a living staircase made of houses. Unlike the dry landscapes that many people associate with Iran, Masuleh belongs to the humid, temperate climate of Gilan province, a region shaped by mist, rain, forests, and the moisture coming from the Caspian Sea. Houses are stacked one above another, and the roof of one home becomes the courtyard, walkway, or public path for the family living above it. This is the only place in Iran and one of the few in the world that prohibits motorized vehicles from entering. The village's structure cannot withstand the weight of vehicles, and the roof space is too narrow, only suitable for pedestrians and pack animals. The homes are traditionally built from mud, fired brick and wood, then covered with a special surface layer known as kahat, made from yellow clay and straw. This coating gives the village its warm, golden colour, which glows beautifully against the grey mist and green mountains. In a place where fog and drizzle can last for long periods, the walls need protection from moisture, and the villagers developed a natural method of sealing and maintaining their homes long before industrial materials became common. Masuleh are primarily Taleshi, an Iranian ethnic group with its own distinct language and cultural identity. The Taleshi language is the main language belonging to the northwestern branch of Iranian languages. For centuries, Masuleh has also been an important stop on trade routes connecting the mountainous region with the plains. Blacksmithing, knife making, silk weaving, and traditional crafts such as woolen dolls and chamouche shoes have helped sustain the village's economy and given Masuleh a reputation as a place of skilled artisans. Many houses built from natural materials like mud and wood require regular repairs and maintenance, especially after harsh winters. Walls are replastered, roofs are reinforced, pathways are preserved, and the delicate balance between mountains, weather, and human life is renewed time and again. Seven. Abyaneh village. This village right before our eyes seems to have stepped back into the 5th century BC with the vibrant red hues of Abyaneh, where the elders still speak an ancient language and wear clothing that the modern world has completely forgotten. Located on the slopes of Mount Karkas in Isfahan province, at an altitude of approximately 7,200 feet above sea level, Abyaneh is often described as a living museum of Persian history, language, and architecture. The history of Abyaneh reaches back at least 2,500 years, passing through the ages of the Medes, the Achaemenids, the Parthians, and the Sassanids. While many regions of Iran were reshaped by invasion, migration and political change, Abyaneh's remote position deep in the mountains helped protect it from some of the most destructive waves of history, including the Mongol invasions. Isolation, which is often seen as a weakness, became the village's greatest shield. Because of it, Abyaneh preserved cultural layers that many other places gradually lost, making the village feel less like a settlement built in one period and more like a timeline carved into the mountain. The entire village seems to burn with a deep red glow, especially when the sun hits the houses in the late afternoon. This colour comes from the local clay, rich in iron oxide, mixed with mud and straw to build and plaster their houses. The soil is sourced from the surrounding area, so the architecture here reflects the very land on which it is situated. Instead of being eroded by storms, the structure of this clay layer can become more durable and solid over time. It is this unique technical characteristic that has helped Abyaneh maintain its original appearance through centuries of harsh mountain conditions, despite the effects of wind, snow, and time. Like Masuleh, Abyaneh is built on terraces along a steep slope, but the atmosphere here feels more ancient and mysterious. The houses are typically 2 or 3 stories high, with wooden frame windows called orosi and small balconies jutting out over narrow passageways below. Winding alleys snake between the walls, staircases abruptly ascend from one floor to the next, and the village becomes a labyrinth of red corridors, wooden doors, and hidden courtyards. Walking through Abyaneh is like stepping into a preserved chapter of ancient Persia. This is one of the rare places in Iran where elements of pre-Islamic Persian heritage are still present in daily life. The local dialect is often described as a form related to Middle Persian or Pahlavi, a language associated with the Sassanid period from the 3rd to the 7th centuries. The clothing of Abyaneh is just as distinctive as its language. Women are known for their long white floral scarves, often covered with bright patterns, paired with colourful pleated skirts that stand in sharp contrast to the darker clothing commonly seen in many modern Iranian cities. Men traditionally wear wide black trousers, similar in style to those associated with Bakhtiari clothing. These garments are not simply costumes for visitors, they are signs of identity, continuity, and belonging. Visual proof that Abyaneh has held onto its own rhythm even as the outside world changed around it. Unlike the overwhelming crowds of the large markets in Isfahan or Tehran, the market in Abyaneh is smaller, friendlier, and more authentically local. Along the cobblestone streets and red earthen walls, local produce such as dried fruits, walnuts, mountain herbs, and handcrafted textiles are simply displayed in unpretentious stalls. In the middle of the 21st century, does a place still exist where people live entirely within prehistoric rock caves? What has helped the community of Maymand cling to and maintain a continuous rhythm of life inside the mountains for over 3,000 years? In 2015, UNESCO recognized this site as a World Heritage Site under the title Maymand Cultural Landscape, acknowledging the ancient architecture and the unique way of life that still exists around it. Unlike villages built with stones stacked on top of one another, Maymand was created by digging directly into soft sedimentary rock and compressed volcanic tuff. More than 400 hand-carved cave dwellings are found here, and local tradition often connects the settlement to human presence stretching back as far as 12,000 years. The softness of the stone allowed humans to use rudimentary tools to carve it, but when exposed to air for a long time, the surface hardened, creating a structure that lasted for thousands of years. A typical dwelling here is called a kitche. Each kitche can have 1 to 5 rooms, usually including a cooking area and small alcoves in the walls for storage. There is no need for bricks, mortar, or decorative details. The rooms are simple, dark, with thick walls and extremely practical. The caves are enclosed by thick rock, maintaining a remarkably stable temperature inside, warmer during the harsh winter months and cooler during the intense heat of the Kerman desert summer. The people of Maymand have traditionally followed a semi-nomadic lifestyle, shifting between cave homes, grazing lands and orchards according to the seasons. Deep in the desert near the Afghan border lies Makhunik, known as the Land of the Dwarves or Iran's Land of Lilliput. This designation refers not only to the small, old houses, but also to the unusual physical history of the inhabitants, whose average height was once recorded as being significantly shorter than that of the surrounding population. For centuries, Makhunik was almost completely isolated from the outside world, not only from foreign influence, but also from many neighbouring regions within Iran. The land surrounding the village was poor, arid and harsh, lacking water and offering few opportunities for large-scale agriculture or livestock farming. The inhabitants survived on drought-resistant crops such as radishes and barley, along with jujubes from hardy native trees. Until the middle of the 20th century, many residents of Makhunik were said to be around 20 inches shorter than the average person of their time. A diet low in protein and essential vitamins weakened physical development across families, while poor soil and water lacking important minerals may have contributed to thyroid and bone growth problems. Because the village was geographically isolated, marriage often occurred within a small local circle, allowing recessive traits connected to short stature to become more common over time. The old houses of Makhunik were extremely small, often only about 100 to 160 square feet, with very low ceilings and entrances so short that an adult had to bend deeply to enter. Some doorways were only around 2.5 to 3 feet high. These homes were built from stone, mud, and the wood of jujube trees because large timber was scarce and transporting heavy building materials into the area was nearly impossible. In the high-altitude desert environment, nighttime temperatures in winter drop very low. Small, low-ceilinged houses with thick mud walls help retain heat more effectively, saving on scarce heating fuel. Many houses were also built partly below ground level, sometimes about 3 feet into the earth, taking advantage of natural insulation and helping protect residents from wind, dust, and sandstorms. The predominantly Sunni Muslim population in a predominantly Shia country also contributed to an invisible barrier with surrounding areas. Their lifestyle is based entirely on resource conservation. Everything is used to the maximum extent, and there is virtually no concept of waste. But Makhunik has changed. Since the middle of the 20th century, the construction of roads has connected the village more closely to the outside world. Food from other parts of Iran, especially rice, wheat products, iodized salt, and more varied nutrition, began to reach the community. Medical care improved, and the younger generations of Makhunik now generally grow to heights comparable to people in other parts of Iran. Today, many of the tiny old houses are no longer used as ordinary homes, but they still stand as evidence of a severe chapter in human adaptation. Some places don't need grand structures to tell their history. Just by looking at how the houses cling to the mountainside here, you can see the story of generations who have lived in the village of Palangan. Unlike the yellow clay of Masuleh or the red earth of Abyaneh, Palangan is a village of stone. Most of its houses are built from local rocks, stacked carefully together, sometimes without mortar, combined with mud and timber from the surrounding region. This gives the entire settlement a raw, defensive beauty. The colour of the houses blends almost perfectly with the cliffs around them, making the village appear hidden inside the valley. The village is divided by a river running through the bottom of the valley, splitting Palangan into two facing halves. Stone and iron bridges connect one side to the other, turning the valley into a shared social space where people constantly move between homes, paths, water, and terraces. Palangan is also deeply Kurdish. Its residents speak Kurdish, especially the Hirami dialect, an old branch within the Iranian language family that carries echoes of the region's long cultural history. The village's identity is visible not only in language, but in clothing, music, dance, and public rituals. Men traditionally wear the Kurdish rank and choga, with wide trousers and a distinctive jacket, while women wear bright dresses decorated with careful embroidery, colours, and details that reflect family, status, and tribal belonging. This identity is most clearly expressed during Nowruz, the Persian and Kurdish New Year, celebrated around springtime. In Palangan, Nowruz is a grand celebration with fire, music, dance, and community identity. As dusk falls over the valley, people gather on rooftops, terraces, bridges, and mountain trails. Torches are lit, and the flames begin to move throughout the villages like brilliant rivers of light. Seen from afar, the entire cliff face becomes a fiery symbol of rebirth. Rooted in ancient Iranian traditions and connected to the symbolism of Zoroastrian belief, fire represents purification, renewal, and the victory of light over darkness. After the cold months of winter, the flames announce that life is returning to the mountain. They mark the turning of the year, the return of warmth, and the hope that hardship can be left behind. The music began to play. The sounds of Kurdish drums and wind instruments filled the valley, echoing off the cliffs and rock walls. People lined up in rows and circles, holding hands, their feet moving in rhythm to a traditional Kurdish dance. Every rooftop becomes part of the festival, and every bridge becomes a connection between generations. Nestled deep within the Zagros Mountains in western Iran, in the Kurdistan province, the village of Uraman Takht lies at the heart of the vast Haraman cultural region, a place of historical and spiritual significance, recognized by UNESCO in 2021 and as a Haraman/Uramanat cultural landscape. The village stretches along the steep mountainside with houses stacked so close together that one rooftop becomes a courtyard, walkway, and public space for the house above. Because there is virtually no flat land, the rooftops serve as a path, a meeting place, a work area, and sometimes a stage for rituals and festivals. Deep understanding of weight, slope, and load-bearing capacity. These houses have withstood the harsh mountain weather for centuries. Wood from walnut and mulberry trees is also used for roof beams, door frames, and structural support, giving the stone houses a degree of flexibility in a region where the earth itself can shift. The human history of Uraman reaches far beyond the village as it appears today. Archaeological discoveries in the region, including stone tools and cave remains, suggest human presence going back to the Paleolithic period. Uraman Takht is home to some of the oldest surviving rituals in the Middle East, particularly the Pir Shalia festival. Pir Shalia is remembered as a legendary figure of wisdom, healing, and spiritual guidance, and his rituals are celebrated twice a year, once in midwinter and once in spring. Although the people of the region today are Muslim, the rituals still bear the strong imprint of ancient Iranian beliefs, including Zoroastrian and Mithraic elements, where nature, light, community, and sacred cycles hold powerful symbolic significance. During the Pir Shalia ceremony, people gather on terraces, rooftops, and narrow paths, while the sound of the daf, a large frame drum, echoes through the mountains. Animals are prepared for communal meals, prayers are offered, and people come together not as separate households, but as one body. Language is another important element shaping the identity of Uraman Takht. The people speak Harami, a branch of the Gorani group within the northwestern Iranian language family. The people of Uraman Takht have also transformed a harsh environment into a productive one. The barren, rocky slopes have been shaped into terraced gardens where walnut, pomegranate, and fig trees thrive thanks to a system of irrigation canals drawing water from mountain springs. Each orchard is a testament to their perseverance. Each terraced field is proof that the local agriculture is built upon years of hard work and knowledge of the land. Situated on a steep hillside beside the Sirwan River, Hajij embodies the distinctive tiered architectural solution of the Uraman region. Given the complete lack of flat terrain, the village was forced to develop vertically with stacked house structures, where the roof of the lower level serves as a terrace, walkway, or corridor for the next level. Most of Hajij is built from local stone using the dry stone method. Carefully shaped stones are stacked with little or no mortar, relying on balance, gravity, and craftsmanship rather than cement. Combined with mud and local timber, this technique gives the houses strength while allowing a degree of flexibility against small ground movements. Hajij is best known for Giveh, a traditional handmade shoe designed for the rocky terrain of the Zagros Mountains. Its sole is made from compressed cloth or leather, while the upper part is woven from cotton thread. Light, durable, and breathable, Giveh was created not as fashion, but as practical mountain footwear. This craft is often passed down within families. Men typically make the soles while women hand weave the uppers. In this way, Giveh shoes are both a product and a social tradition, a family economy, and a symbol of Uraman identity. Hajij also sits within a sensitive borderland near Iraq, where Kurdish culture, state security, and cross-border tensions often overlap. Known as the Roof of Mazandaran, Filband sits high in the Alborz Mountains of northern Iran, at about 8,900 feet above sea level. Its height, combined with its location near the Caspian Sea, gives the village its most famous image, a settlement floating above a sea of clouds. Winters in Filband are severe, with heavy snow, freezing winds, and roads often blocked by ice or avalanches. For around 6 to 7 months each year, the village is almost empty. Most residents are herders from lower regions such as Banpay, who move up to Filband in late spring after the snow melts and the mountain grass returns. When winter approaches, they descend again to warmer valleys and plains, protecting both their families and their livestock. This seasonal migration allows Filband to clearly demonstrate that a semi-nomadic lifestyle still exists in some of Iran's highlands. The traditional architecture here is a testament to its remarkable adaptability to the highland climate. Their steep roofs, often covered with wood or metal sheets, allow snow to slide off before its weight can damage the structure. Walls are commonly made from stone, mud, wood, and clay mixed with straw to preserve warmth. Because transporting materials up to this elevation was historically difficult, older buildings relied almost entirely on resources found nearby. Filband's economy is based mainly on cattle and sheep herding. The surrounding pastures, fed by melting snow, provide mineral-rich grass that supports livestock and gives local dairy and meat products a distinct mountain character. This is one of the oldest mud brick settlements in Iran, with a history spanning over 4,500 years, the village of Kharanaq. Built in the desert using unbaked mud bricks, straw, and clay, the ancient village demonstrates a highly practical solution for the harsh environment. These materials provide excellent insulation, keeping the houses cooler in the intense desert heat and warmer on cold nights, where temperatures can fluctuate dramatically within a single day. The ancient citadel was built as a dense, tightly interconnected structure, with houses built close together and linked by narrow alleys, pathways, and internal roads, forming a labyrinthine layout. This design provided shade along the pathways, reduced direct sunlight exposure, and enhanced the village's defences. The most striking image is the swaying minaret, or mana jomban, a rare surviving example of a flexible brick tower from the Seljuk period dating back to around the 11th and 12th centuries. The structure was designed to sway slightly under pressure without collapsing thanks to the balance and elasticity of its brick and mortar construction. Unlike many abandoned historic sites, Kharanaq remained inhabited until the 1970s. Only when the old mud brick structures became too fragile and modern needs such as electricity and running water became more important did residents gradually move into a newer village built nearby. Today, ancient Karanak resembles a ghost city preserved in place. Empty multi story mud houses, narrow tunnels, mosques, public baths, and public spaces offer a vivid picture of how desert communities live their daily lives. It is said that to understand a country, don't look at its capital, look at how its poorest people survive in its harshest environments. The ancient villages of Iran are just such examples. They existed before the concept of modern borders and will likely remain there long after the political conflicts of the 21st century have passed. Next time you hear the name Iran, please don't just remember the smoke and dust of conflict. Remember a land where people steadfastly keep the rhythm of history alive in every stone.
Iran 2026. No longer a distant chapter in history. It is a nation facing pivotal challenges. As external military pressures and internal economic upheavals create an unprecedented storm, the world is forced to hold its breath and watch Tehran. Why has a land of poetry and ancient wonders become the focus of global attention? You may hear a lot about the conflicts, but have you really seen Iran? Join us as we journey through the smoke of the present to touch the true soul of this place. If you want to understand Iran today, you begin in Tehran. Tehran has long been a subject of intense international attention, ranging from curiosity to deep concern. However, behind those headlines lies a far more multifaceted entity, a vast, restless metropolis of nearly 10 million people, where modern ambitions and underlying instability coexist. Amidst bustling avenues, towering glass skyscrapers, including Milad Tower, which climbs roughly 1,435 feet into the air, stand as symbolic landmarks of Iran's modernization aspirations. However, this imposing facade contrasts sharply with a harsher reality of everyday life, where daily routines are weighed down by sanctions, economic decline, and unpredictable external geopolitical uncertainties. Tehran is also a living museum of tumultuous memories. From the Tehran University campus to the expansive squares, every step on the streets touches the traces of years of protest, where urban spaces become the voice of generations yearning for change. Even when the internet is down, the bonds between people remain unbroken. They simply transform into an underground current, enduring and present in the heart of the city, much like the bustling heartbeat of Tehran's boulevards. To the west of Tehran lies the Azadi Tower, a striking architectural masterpiece with its interwoven white domes, a symbol that has endured through more than half a century of Iranian history. Rising about 165 feet above Azadi Square, the tower was completed in 1971 to commemorate the 2,500th anniversary of the Persian Empire, celebrating the long historical continuity of Iranian civilization. Its architect Hossein Amanat designed the monument while still in his 20s, blending elements of ancient Achaemenid forms with the geometry of Islamic architecture. The result is a structure that feels both ancient and modern at the same time. Beyond the financial burdens, a quiet but intense state of alert is gripping the capital. Tightened security measures in strategic areas, coupled with a cautious population, are evidence of the interplay between international conflicts and Iran's internal social shifts. Tehran is currently in a state of observation and waiting. Every international news event carries direct weight on daily life, from the distant corridors of power to the bustling city streets. Located in the heart of the capital is Golestan Palace, a place that showcases Iran's transformation in the 19th century. Recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2013, the palace represents one of the most vivid examples of how traditional Persian art evolved while absorbing influences from Europe. The origins of Golestan date back to the Safavid era in the 16th century, when the area formed part of the fortified royal citadel known as the Arg of Tehran. Everything changed centuries later when the Qajar dynasty, ruling from 1789 to 1925, selected Tehran as the capital of Iran. With the rise of the new royal court, Golestan Palace became the official residence of the Qajar kings, and the center of political authority in the country. Inside the palace, the decorative artistry reaches extraordinary levels of detail. Many of the reception halls are covered with intricate mirror mosaics, composed of thousands upon thousands of tiny glass fragments. When light enters these rooms, the mirrors scatter it across the surfaces in countless reflections, producing a dazzling effect that transforms the interior into a shimmering chamber of light. Alongside these traditional techniques, European architectural elements appear throughout the complex. Tall columns inspired by European palaces, high ceilings, and painted landscapes influenced by French artistic styles coexist with Persian tile work and geometric ornamentation. This blend of influences illustrates a pivotal moment in Iranian history, when the country was negotiating its identity between long-standing cultural traditions and increasing contact with the outside world. Formed by dazzling gold-plated domes and towering emerald green minarets against the desert sky, Qom is not only a pilgrimage site, but also a magnificent masterpiece of religious architecture. As Iran's second holiest site after Mashhad, Qom separates itself from the aesthetic norms of Isfahan or the romanticism of Shiraz to define its identity through pure devotion. Its streets, institutions, and daily life revolve around faith, scholarship, and pilgrimage. At the heart of this spiritual center lies the Hazrat Masuleh Shrine, the resting place of Fatima Masuleh, sister of Imam Reza, the 8th Imam of Shia Islam. Her death in Qom in the early 9th century transformed the city into a major pilgrimage destination. Today, millions of visitors come here each year from across Iran and the wider Shia world to pay their respects at the shrine. Standing out against the city skyline is a magnificent golden dome, gleaming in the desert sun and visible from far beyond the surrounding streets. The courtyards are surrounded by splendid iwan, archways, adorned with exquisite turquoise and cobalt blue glazed tiles, forming intricate geometric and calligraphic patterns that reflect centuries of Persian Islamic art. Inside, the walls and ceilings are covered with delicate mirror mosaics, each piece reflecting light into thousands of tiny, sparkling rays throughout the room. At the center of the sanctuary is an elaborately decorated silver lattice encircling the tomb of Fatima Masuleh. Women entering the interior of the shrine traditionally wear chador, the long, flowing robe associated with religious observance in Iran. The city hosts a vast network of religious schools known as madrasas, where thousands of students study Islamic law, philosophy, and theology. During the 20th century, Qom became a focal point of political opposition to the ruling monarchy. Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini, who would later become the leader of the 1979 Iranian Revolution, lived and taught here for many years before his exile. His sermons and teachings in Qom helped shape the ideological movement that eventually transformed the political structure of Iran. Just outside the city lies the Jamkaran Mosque. According to Shia beliefs, this mosque is associated with the expected return of the 12th Imam, Imam Mahdi, a messianic figure believed to reappear in the future. Because of this belief, Jamkaran has become a sacred place of veneration. Every Tuesday evening, thousands of pilgrims gather there to pray, light candles, and leave written petitions in the hope that their prayers will reach the hidden Imam. Leaving behind the splendor of later dynasties, the journey back in time takes us to Pasargadae and Susa, where the Persian dream began to take shape. Pasargadae was the first capital of the Achaemenid Empire, established in the 6th century BC by Cyrus the Great, the founder of the Persian state. Completely different from the ostentatious display of power by the grand scale of later capitals, Pasargadae embodies the governing philosophy of a brilliant monarch, respected by posterity for both his military prowess and rare political tolerance. This place is the cradle of fundamental cultural and architectural values that shape the identity of the Persian dynasty throughout history. The tomb of Cyrus the Great is the most important monument in Pasargadae, notable for its minimalist yet majestic architecture. With its 6-tiered stone steps supporting the limestone burial chamber, the structure embodies the vision of a great emperor who needed no ostentation. Having withstood over 2,500 years of wars and the ravages of time, the tomb remains remarkably intact. Legend says that even Alexander the Great, after conquering Persia, paid homage to this resting place and ordered its preservation. Further west, another city tells an even deeper story of human settlement. Susa, located in the modern Khuzestan province, has been inhabited since approximately 4,200 BC. Situated at the crossroads between the Persian plateau and the fertile lands of Mesopotamia, Susa served as a bridge between cultures, empires, and trade routes. Throughout its long history, Susa belonged not only to the Persians but also to earlier civilizations such as the Elamites, and later to the Babylonians, Persians, and Seleucids. When Darius the Great rose to power in the 5th century BC, he chose Susa as one of his principal administrative capitals, favoring it for its strategic position linking the empire's eastern and western territories. Standing nearby today is the Château de Suse, a fortress-like structure built by French archaeologists in the late 19th century. Constructed partly from bricks taken from the surrounding ruins, the building served as both a research base and a protective archive for the artifacts uncovered during early excavations. Susa also holds a place in legal history. It was here that archaeologists discovered the famous Code of Hammurabi, one of the earliest known written law codes in human civilization. From the tensions in Tehran, the story of Iran stretches even deeper into its glorious past. To touch that historical current, the next destination is the vast rocky landscape of Persepolis in the south, a symbol of power and pride, where the aspirations of an empire are immortalized through exquisite carvings on hard rock preserving the imprint of a brilliant civilization spanning millennia. It was conceived as the ceremonial center of the Achaemenid Empire, where imperial power was embodied in magnificent architectural creations. Beginned by Darius the Great in 518 BC at the foot of Mount Ramat, this project spanned centuries. Subsequent reigns, particularly Xerxes I and Artaxerxes I, continuously expanded and perfected it, making Persepolis the ultimate symbol of art and ritual of humanity at that time. The entire complex rises from a massive, sprawling 31-acre stone platform, meticulously carved from the mountainside. The sheer scale of the foundation is a testament to a powerful and profound system of governance. The journey into the heart of the empire begins at the Gate of All Nations, a majestic entrance guarded by colossal lamassu, mythical winged bulls with human heads, symbolizing the empire's protection and order. Beyond the gate stood the Abyaneh Palace, the largest and most magnificent structure in Persepolis. Its audience hall was supported by 72 stone columns, each rising about 66 feet high. Here, the king received diplomats and envoys from across the empire. Nearby stood the throne hall, often called the Hall of 100 Columns, where imperial treasures were displayed and military commanders were received. Private royal residences, such as Darius's Takora Palace, are adorned with incredibly intricate stone carvings. What distinguishes Takara most is the extraordinary quality of its stonework. The palace was constructed from finely polished dark gray limestone, cut so precisely that the surfaces still appear smooth and reflective after more than 2,500 years. Yet the most compelling feature of Persepolis lies in its bas reliefs. Along staircases and walls, long processions unfold in stone. Soldiers, nobles, and representatives of 23 nations approach the king bearing gifts, textiles, precious metals, exotic animals, and ceremonial objects. They were a visual narrative of the empire's diversity and administrative reach. Architecture here borrowed influences from Mesopotamia, Egypt, and the Greek world, reflecting the cultural complexity of the Achaemenid realm. During Nowruz, the Persian New Year, delegations from across the empire gathered here to present tribute and renew their loyalty to the crown. Not far from Persepolis, the landscape shifts from ceremonial grandeur to something far more solemn. Carved directly into a towering limestone cliff stands Naqsh-e-Rustam, one of the most significant royal necropolises in Iran. If Persepolis was the magnificent palace of the Persian kings during their lifetime, then Naqsh-e-Rustam is their majestic final resting place. The most striking features of the site are the 4 immense royal tombs cut high into the rock face during the Achaemenid period. Each tomb is carved in the shape of a massive cross, a design that has often led historians to refer to them as the Persian cross. Among them is the tomb of Darius the Great, the only burial site definitively identified through inscriptions carved into the stone. Nearby lie the tombs believed to belong to Xerxes I, Artaxerxes I, and Darius II. At the center of each cross-shaped is a doorway leading to the burial chamber where the royal sarcophagus once rested. At the center of each cross is an entrance leading to the burial chamber where the royal coffin once rested. Above the entrance, large bas-reliefs depict the king standing on a royal platform supported by representatives of the many nations of the empire. Centuries after the fall of the Achaemenid Empire, the cliff of Naqsh-e-Rustam was chosen again as a monumental canvas. During the Sassanid period, from the 3rd to the 7th centuries AD, Persian kings carved new reliefs beneath the ancient tombs to proclaim their own legitimacy and connection to the past. Rising above the dusty veils of ancient history, Isfahan emerges as a glorious heritage oasis, where emerald green domes and tree-lined avenues weave an eternal symphony of human ingenuity and aesthetic sense. Often called the cultural crown of Iran, has long been regarded as one of the most beautiful cities of the Islamic world. For centuries, Iranians have repeated a famous proverb, Esfahan nesf-e-jahan. Isfahan is half the world. During the 17th century, when the city served as the capital of the Safavid Empire, its wealth, architecture, and vibrant cultural life made it one of the most dazzling urban centers anywhere along the Silk Road. At its center lies Naqsh-e-Jahan Square, one of the largest public squares on Earth and a UNESCO World Heritage Site today. Measuring nearly 1,800 feet long and more than 500 feet wide, it has the scale of a movie theater, with its emerald green domes gleaming in the desert sun. 4 monumental structures frame the square, each representing a pillar of Safavid society. The most imposing is the Shah Mosque, also known as Masjid-e-Shah. Widely considered one of the greatest achievements of Persian Islamic architecture, the enormous turquoise dome and the exquisite mosaic tiles gleamed, while the sound of quiet prayers echoed within the cathedral. Across the square from the other side is the Sheikh Lotfullah Mosque, a masterpiece built exclusively for royalty. Unlike most mosques, it lacks a minaret, giving it a serene appearance. Its exquisite dome changes color throughout the day, shifting from a pale cream to a soft pink as the sunlight glides across its surface. Overlooking the square rises the Ali Kapı Palace, a 6-story structure where Shah Abbas once received foreign ambassadors. From its large wooden balcony, the ruler could watch polo games unfolding below. Beyond the square's boundary lies a complex network of stone bridges. The Co-Sepol Bridge, meaning Bridge of 33 Arches, stretches across the Zayande Rud River in a long rhythmic sequence of stone vaults. At night, when the lights illuminate the bridge's arches, the bridge becomes one of the city's most memorable sights. Isfahan also preserves layers of religious and cultural diversity. The Jame Mosque, sometimes called the Friday Mosque, functions almost like a living archive of Islamic architecture, displaying structural styles that evolved from the 8th century through the 20th century. Meanwhile, the historic Armenian district of Yolfa tells another chapter of the city's cosmopolitan past. At its center stands Vank Cathedral, where Persian architectural forms blend with vividly painted Christian frescoes, an unusual fusion rarely found elsewhere in the region. Beyond its monuments, Isfahan remains the traditional center of Iranian craftsmanship. The city's workshops are renowned for producing some of the finest Persian carpets, celebrated worldwide for their intricate patterns and exceptional weaving techniques. As we move south, the atmosphere shifts from the industrial pulse of the north to the sophisticated intellectual air of Shiraz. Known as the City of Gardens and a cultural stronghold of the nation, Shiraz is where the refined heritage of the Zand dynasty perfectly blends with contemporary life. Here, the souls of its people are nurtured by a deep and enduring connection with the flow of literature and fine arts. The reign of Karim Khan Zand in the 18th century transformed the city into a sanctuary of Persian identity. The core difference of Zand architecture lies in its human-centered sophistication, replacing the ostentatious display of previous dynasties. This identity, a blend of art and social diplomacy, has become a core value that has helped Shiraz maintain its reputation as a leading cultural center in the 21st century. This sophistication is most evident in the Nasir al-Mulk Mosque, also known as the Pink Mosque. It is a masterpiece of color coordination. Built at the end of the Qajar period, the architects used the science of light to transform a place of worship into a space ablaze with color. As the sun rises, its rays stream through the stained glass windows, creating vibrant patterns on the carpets and walls. Red, blue, and yellow blend into mosaics of color that move slowly across the floor as the morning fades. The spiritual energy of Shiraz is held by Shah Cheragh Mosque, the King of Light. Beyond its religious significance as a Shia Muslim pilgrimage site, the mausoleum is also a masterpiece of Ainekari, the exquisite Persian art of mirror mosaic. Inside, millions of tiny, hand-cut mirror pieces cover every inch of the domes, creating a galaxy-reflecting space. Representing the romantic beauty of Shiraz, the Iram Gardens are a UNESCO World Heritage Site, a living example of the Chahar Bagh layout, 4 gardens, an ancient Persian concept of paradise on earth. Yet the true soul of Shiraz lies at the tomb of Hafez. Hafez's 14th century verses remain the unofficial constitution of the Persian heart, guiding the way the nation loves, dreams, and navigates crises. To stand under the elegant octagonal pavilion is to witness the living pulse of Iran, where the wisdom of the past is recited by the generation of the future. Nestled between the harshness of the Dasht-e-Kavir desert and the exquisite fragrance of Mohammadi roses, Kashan emerges as an oasis where barren clay is molded into geometric wonders. Here, for centuries, inhabitants have grappled with a fundamental problem: how to sustain life in one of the harshest environments on Earth. At the heart of Kashan's identity are its historic merchant houses, typified by the Tabatabai house. Beyond their aesthetic harmony, these structures are also sophisticated thermal machines. Their 40 rooms are arranged around 4 courtyards that serve as cool air reservoirs. By lowering the lower levels deep into the ground, a technique known as shovadan, the architects harnessed the Earth's natural thermal mass to keep interior temperatures up to 20 degrees cooler than the scorching desert surface without a single watt of electricity. Not far away is the Ameri House, the largest and most magnificent of the traditional houses in Kashan. With its massive scale encompassing 7 separate courtyards and over 80 rooms, this structure once served as the residence of the local governor. The Ameri House impresses with its masterful interior decoration, featuring exquisite plaster carvings and a dazzling system of mirrors reflecting light, a testament to the immense prosperity of the Persian upper class. Nearby, the Borojerdi House showcases the pinnacle of Persian aerodynamic design. Its iconic dome is topped with elaborate wind towers, or badgirs, which are precisely calibrated to catch even the slightest desert breeze. The city's groundbreaking architectural thinking is clearly demonstrated in its public spaces, most notably the Sultan Amir Ahmad Baths. Today, this region remains a global center for rosewater production. The Mohammadi rose is not only a cultural symbol, it is also a vital economic pillar of Iran's economy. During the Golubgiri season, the ancient ritual of distillation becomes a high-stakes industry. Thousands of tons of petals are processed in traditional copper stills, producing rosewater that is exported worldwide, from the sacred halls of Mecca to the perfume houses of Europe. In the northern spine of Iran, where the Alborz Mountains rise like a fortress between the Caspian Sea and the Central Plateau, there is one peak that reigns above all, Mount Damavand. Towering at over 18,400 feet, this dormant volcano is not only the tallest in Iran, but the highest in all of the Middle East. Damavand's true majesty comes from the stories that breathe within its frozen heart. Persian legends speak of Zahak, the evil serpent king, whose cruelty plunged the world into darkness. When the hero Feridun finally defeated him, he chained Zahak deep within the bowels of Damavand. To this day, locals say, the mountain rumbles with his silent rage, and every tremor is a reminder that evil is never truly gone, only sleeping. Covered in snow for most of the year, Mount Damavand looms majestically, its perfect pyramid rising high above eastern Tehran. Its towering silhouette is etched into the cultural memory of an entire nation. Damavand is far more than an ordinary mountain. It is a majestic temple carved by time and nature. Amid the mountains and ancient forests of Damavand, the Persian leopard still lurks quietly, a mysterious figure patrolling its wild kingdom. A creature on the brink of extinction, yet still stubbornly holding on to its wild instincts. With its thick fur, dotted with mysterious black spots that help it hide perfectly in the rugged terrain. This apex predator represents one of the largest remaining leopard populations in the world. This ghostly figure is a living echo of the indomitable spirit of Damavand. Proud, indomitable, but also slowly disappearing into the mists of time, a reminder of a wild beauty that needs to be protected. Even the air here is ancient. Breathe deeply and you will hear it whisper tales of kings and demons, of ice and fire, of glory and eternal silence. Some cities rise up by the river, others nestle at the foot of the mountains. But then there is Kerman. It was not born from the grace of nature, but rather rose tenaciously on the fragile threshold between the isolation of the desert and the constant struggle for survival. On the southeastern edge of Iran, where the line between sand and sky fades into a sea of sunlight, Kerman rises like an oasis of memory. This is a city forged in the heat of trade routes and the vast silence of the desert, a vital outpost on the fabled Silk Road, where camel caravans and traders stopped between danger and the promise of prosperity. Stepping into Kerman's Grand Bazaar, time seems to stand still. It is a living manuscript of trade and craftsmanship, where every corner tells a story. The air is thick with the scent of cumin, dried rose petals, and freshly ground saffron. In the shimmering light of copper lamps, intricately hand-woven Persian carpets, their patterns whisper tales older than the cities they once roamed. In the heart of Kerman, the Ganjali Khan complex stands as a 17th century architectural symphony. Built during the Safavid dynasty, this harmonious combination of inn, bathhouse, mosque, and madrasa is a work of art in stone and brick, a living rhythm shaped by centuries of dedication and design. Each dome, each arch is exquisitely shaped to guide light, water, and the human spirit through the rhythms of daily life. But Kerman's spirit reaches far beyond its walls, to Bam, the ancient mud brick citadel once hailed as the largest of its kind on Earth. Though the 2003 earthquakes destroyed much of it, what remains stands like a ghost fortress. Damaged but unyielding. A monument to resilience carved from clay, desert heat, and the tenacity of human will. Even today, though trucks have replaced camel caravans and the Silk Road lives more in stories, Kerman still stands strong. The city looks out over the desert, and the desert looks back, as if both are nostalgic for what it means to be a permanent frontier, where the boundaries between civilization and infinity meet. Hidden beyond the reach of most roads is a place so remote it was once thought to be devoid of life. Not a tree, not a soul. It is Dasht-e-Lut, the empty desert, a realm of absolute existence, where fire turns to stone, and silence becomes an eternal echo, recognized by UNESCO as a World Natural Heritage Site. Dasht-e-Lut holds the record for the highest ground temperature ever recorded on Earth, over 158 degrees Fahrenheit. Scattered across the desert floor are the legendary Kalut stones, giant boulders shaped by thousands of years of wind and time. They rise like the skeletons of a forgotten city, massive, silent, casting shadows that shift like ghosts at sundown. To walk among them is to enter a world unmoored from Earth, a realm where no plant grows, no bird sings. On the outermost edges of this giant furnace, life still clings tenaciously to every inch of soil. The neighboring semi-desert plains are home to the Persian onager, a rare and critically endangered animal. With its lean body full of power and speed, it moves nimbly across the barren terrain, searching for scarce food and water. Each individual is a living symbol of the tenacious will to survive against all odds. And in the undergrowth of the nearby steppe, the caracal appears and disappears like a ghost, with its towering, pricked ears dotted with distinctive black tufts and its fearsome, silent leap. This cunning predator is a master of the balance between deadly silence and lightning-fast pounce, a predator born to blend in with this harsh wildlife. Yet it is this very desolation that bestows upon Dasht-e-Lut its profound power. This is a place that strips away all but the essentials, leaving only the raw, untamed essence of Earth itself. Tucked away in the barren borderlands between Iran and Afghanistan, lies Makhunik, a village so strange, so improbable. It feels more like a myth carved into the desert than a place that ever truly lived. The houses are built low, almost miniature, with doors barely reaching the chest, and ceilings so low that even the smallest visitors have to stoop to enter. For centuries, the people of Makhunik lived in isolation, sustaining themselves with little more than wheat, barley, and simple herbs. Their world was small, self-contained, and silent. Yet it is their stature that has caught the world's attention. For generations, the villagers of Makhunik were remarkably short, with an average stature of less than 5 feet. Scientists and anthropologists who arrived here in the 20th century called it the city of the dwarfs. Some attributed this phenomenon to chronic malnutrition and a harsh environment that offered little protein or variety. Others pointed to centuries of intermarriage within a closed community, but none could quite explain how an entire village came to look as though it belonged to another time. Makhunik is changing. Roads connect it to the outside world, and younger generations have grown taller, blending back into the modern human scale. The village still stands in soft hues of clay and dust, its miniature homes blending seamlessly into the hills that cradle them. When the sun sets, long shadows stretch across the sand, and Makhunik glows in a light that feels almost cinematic. Sitting at the western gateway of Iran, at the majestic intersection of mountains and streams of memory, Tabriz has risen as a resilient city, witnessing the rise and fall of empires, turning each encounter into art, commerce, and a timeless identity. Once a vital stop on the legendary Silk Road, Tabriz became a living mosaic where Persian grace met Turkish vigor, and Armenian craftsmanship intertwined with Islamic art. It is a city that does not belong to one culture, but to many, layered, intricate, and endlessly alive. At its core stands the Tabriz Historic Bazaar Complex, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and one of the oldest covered markets in the world. Its vast labyrinth of vaulted corridors and brick domes hums with the echoes of 1,000 languages. Here, merchants once traded silk, spices, and stories from across Asia, their voices mingling like a timeless chorus beneath arches glazed by centuries of dust and devotion. Even today, as the scent of saffron drifts through the air, the bazaar feels less like a marketplace and more like a living museum of human connection. Nearby rises the Blue Mosque, or Masjid-e-Kabud, a fragment of divine geometry reborn from ruin. Though shattered by an earthquake in the 80th century, its remnants still shimmer with the same deep cobalt tiles that once earned it the name the turquoise of Islam. Step closer and you'll see the calligraphy, verses of faith etched in ceramic, their beauty defying the centuries that tried to erase them. The city remains one of the world's great centers of Persian carpet weaving, where every knot tells a story, every thread bears the mark of tradition. Tabriz carpets are created as symphonies of color and symmetry, blending art and tradition into something timeless. Iran is a symphony of countless tones. And in Tabriz, each note still resonates, singing the eternal song of time. Among places where architecture is either man-made or carved by the passage of time, Kandovan stands out as a unique wonder. Tucked away in the rugged slopes of Sahan Mountain in Iran's East Azerbaijan province is a village where towering rocks have become a home and time moves at a different pace. Across the valley, cone-shaped rock formations known locally as Kharanaq, like ancient chimneys. Some are narrow and tall, others squat and wide, but all are hollowed from the inside, turned into homes, stables, pantries, and prayer rooms. These are warm homes of the present, where life continues enduring and unique through generations, rather than just relics of the past. Unlike the world-famous troglodyte cities of Cappadocia, Kandovan still hosts a living community, one that has endured for over 7 centuries. Every cave is inhabited, every crevice is a home. Here are the strong roots that anchor life and tradition through the ages, far beyond the significance of the ruins that have faded into the past. The architecture here is a masterpiece of natural adaptation. The volcanic stone provides natural insulation. Cool in summer, warm in winter. The windows are meticulously designed to capture the sunlight. The curved walls hug the original shape of the rock, creating a beautiful symbiosis between architecture and nature. At dusk, the scene transforms. The Quran catches the amber light like ancient lanterns. And in that quiet moment, Kandovan opens up a scene that goes beyond mere scenic beauty. This place is a memory of an era when home was found in the heart of Mother Earth. Beyond the current news and tensions, Iran remains a nation shaped by its culture, resilience, and profound historical values. And perhaps that is the true story of Iran, a country that has undergone countless transformations, yet continues to preserve the memory of its past while steadily moving towards the future.